Capricorn, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the week ahead. Now, keep in mind, these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So make sure to check out your other placements because you could have messages there as well. All right, let's get started for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. What is the energy around the week ahead for Capricorn? Oh, Serendipity flew out beautifully. That card wanted to come out too. Let's see, what else do we have here for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Okay. Bottom of the deck is exchanging gifts. I love this card. It's such an interesting card. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Breathe. So serendipity, breathe, loyal heart, and regeneration. Okay. Very interesting selection of cards here for you, Capricorn. Now, I want to start with that exchanging gifts card because it is kind of a fascinating one. It's really an interesting card because it talks about this idea of needing to sort of exchange things, right? Like sometimes we're holding on to things that don't serve us, and if we give them up or we sort of exchange them for different patterns, different behaviors, you'll notice things shift, right? Like things will end up shifting. This is sort of that idea of the law of giving and receiving and trade-offs and sort of weighing things out and determining value around certain patterns, behaviors, thoughts, actions, and seeing, is this really enriching my experience, or is this something that I need to sort of surrender so that I can make room for something else that could be very enriching? It's very interesting because this really talks about your commitment, Capricorn. Really, your commitment could be paying off in ways that you could never have anticipated right now. So please stay committed to whatever it is that you're working on, because you're sort of you're in a state here right now where your ideas and your intentions and even where you invest your time and your resources could be sending sort of this energy out there that could lead to a lot of synchronicities and opportunities for your success. Everything is an exchange. So the idea of wanting to exchange one experience for another, or the idea of doing being devoted, which is another message you got here with loyal heart, being devoted to something and sort of focusing on it expands that thing that you're working on and focusing on. And so goodwill comes back when we keep doing what we're doing, like keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop what you're doing. I feel like you're at a point where that's important to hear because you might be tempted to give up and do something different. And I feel like you're so close to achieving something here that is very, very meaningful to you. You just got to keep working on it. Don't give up. Sometimes endings come in different forms, but now is not the time to hold on to things that need to go. And that's sort of the vibe of this card here, this regeneration card. When it shows up in reverse, it's sort of like something better could happen if we just sort of surrender things that no longer are for us. Like you might be vibing higher than some of your old patterns and behaviors. And so when you engage in those patterns and behaviors, you might find yourself feeling less empowered and wondering why doesn't this make me feel motivated anymore? Well, because you're vibing higher than that, whatever that pattern or action was. And so it's almost like let it go and try doing something different. It's interesting because we do see this loyal heart card here, card 35, and that is really an interesting card of sort of really staying devoted to what you're working on and how much of yourself are you giving to this, like are you really loyal and devoted to your goals right now, or are you sort of like meh? This isn't a time for meh. You could experience a lot of good luck, serendipity, synchronicity, opportunity, an expansion here is awaiting you. You've just got to keep going and sort of also let go of things that are no longer in your vibe. And I think if this is resonating for you, you know what I'm talking about. You know what those things are for you. Those will be different for everybody, right? We all have these sort of comfort patterns that we jump into when we, it's just a routine, and you can shake up your routine, Capricorn, and adopt one that you feel allows you to vibe as high as necessary, and as high as you can. Why limit yourself? This message of this breath card in reverse is saying to you, wake up. Wake up and shake off this inertia, this laziness, this apathy, this sense of decay and lifelessness that may surround you at times when you're engaging in things that are vibing lower than your energy. So vibe high, Capricorn, because something here is really shifting, and I feel like you're about to realize a lot of success and a lot of outcomes that lead to new opportunities in your experience that I feel like it's going to just bring you alive. But there's stuff that's got to go, and you don't be afraid to let some stuff go. If it needs to go, it's time to go. If it's not serving you, if it's not helping you vibe high, if it's keeping you in your comfort zone where you feel almost like you're being crushed by your own boundaries, then that's got to go. It's time to break some patterns here, Capricorn, and to really sort of dream big. Star card in reverse. You might be thinking about things on a very small level instead of on a very expansive big level. We see the Six of Swords here as well. So you're moving to a new shoreline. You are moving away from one set of experiences to a whole new set of experiences, and best not to bring too much baggage on this journey. This voyage cannot accommodate baggage. As you can see, it's a small canoe. And so it's time for you to sort of get distance and not be afraid to get distance from these patterns and behaviors. And I'm almost feeling like for some of you, this could be, even sort of routines that aren't serving you anymore. They're just not for you. You need some inner reflection here. You need some inner reflection to see where your thoughts are limited, where your actions are not inspiring, where you're thinking too small, where you're overly protecting yourself instead of sort of stepping out of that comfort zone and not having as many boundaries around yourself. Like, I feel like you're crushing yourself with those boundaries a little bit, and if anything, it's causing you to just isolate. You're not actually spending time in inner reflection. You're just hiding. You're hiding, and you might be hiding because you feel like you don't know where you're going next or how to get there. I think it all starts with you really connecting to yourself. Okay, so when we see that Star card in reverse, that is a time where you're starting to lose faith that what you are devoting yourself to or what you really feel a connection to isn't going to come to pass, and you might be starting to look at changing directions. And I feel like this reading is saying to you, don't change directions, change your sense of motivation. Change your actions, your patterns, your routines, disturb some of those things and see if that shifts you closer. Start asking for help if you need help. If you need guidance from someone, seek out guidance. Find a way to connect back into the source of what it is that you feel you really connect to. You know what I mean? Like, find a pathway back to that. Sometimes we lose our steam, and I feel like that's what's happening. You've lost some steam here. You have a difficulty asking for help, but that might be exactly what you need to do to transition, to help you sort of have this rite of passage of healing, where you move beyond the trauma of your past and you're sort of devoting yourself to your personal evolution. And you're not carrying around with you any sort of feelings about guilt or resentment. You have a strong desire for peace, and there is a realization here that that's possible. But it might involve releasing some things that sort of disturb your peace or trigger your nervous system into wanting to isolate and hide. And it's interesting because I think some of this is mental for you. Some of this is hanging around in your thoughts, And you've got to sort of shake yourself out of that. This could be coming through as sort of like a nervous energy where you're not taking action because you're almost like, it's almost like a self-paralysis that comes when we overthink things and we start to create these boundaries. And it's almost coming from a time where you might be tired. You might need something to motivate you a little bit differently than it has. I feel like we're seeing that breathe card, that wake up, go outside, shake off these feelings of lethargy, like this inertia that you have, this apathy that you're feeling, this need to open up and trust people, be vulnerable, ask for help, let go of these old battles and follow through with what you started. Don't get trapped by your own sense of boundaries here. Allow yourself that room for healing. Allow that beautiful star energy that you're holding here, even though it's in reverse, it's still here. It's still here for you. And you're being guided to sort of hold it in a way that is very healing and brings you back to life so that you can dream big, expect miracles, and that you don't hold this vibe of despair. Don't despair, Capricorn. Don't despair. Exchange that for something else. There is a sense of despair here, but I feel like you're leaving it behind. There's justice. There's the Knight of Cups. And so it is a time to sort of be vulnerable and just express yourself. Don't fear expressing yourself. Don't think, well, what are people going to think if I say this? And what if they don't agree with me? Or what if someone challenges me? It's sort of this idea of like, just express yourself. Take action. Take that inspired action. Seeing the Two of Cups there in reverse sort of shows me that you're having a hard time with that. You're having a hard time not feeling despair. You're feeling like this out of balance energy here, and it's sort of coming through you in a way where you're holding on to stuff that might have felt like a limit, like this isn't the time to feel that way. Not that there ever is a time, but it's almost like right now you can't afford to feel that way because you're really moving on to something here. And these emotional blocks, not being open to receive love and help and not healing from the past, like keeping the past alive by constantly replaying it, is causing you to feel despair. We see the Wheel of Fortune on the bottom of the deck here. So I feel like you are on the cusp of something here. You're really on the cusp of something here. There's the World card coming out in reverse. It's like you don't realize how blessed you are, Capricorn, and how you can unstuck yourself. Seeing the Chariot with the Knight of Wands, both in reverse. You're stuck because you're sabotaging yourself here, Capricorn, by staying small, by staying isolated, by not taking action on what inspires you. You're not in balance with yourself. There is a strong foundation here that you can build by staying in harmony with yourself. When we see the Lovers with the Three of Pentacles, it's like you have to just make a choice. Are you going to build a new foundation, or are you going to stay where you feel defeated? And I mean, it's tricky. The Wheel of Fortune has remained here on the bottom of the deck for you after that last shuffle. There it is back again. So you do have a lot of fortune moving towards you, and you're moving towards it, but there's also this inertia. There's this lack of movement as well, and it's sabotaging you. And I feel like this is part of the healing process for you, Capricorn. I feel like this is part of the healing process, by overcoming those feelings and not being defeated, by rejecting that defeated emotion. You're moving through the healing. For some of you, that feeling of despair and defeat is part of the limited sort of boundaried area that you feel comfortable in. And so by overcoming that, you've already overcome that might be part of this lesson. That's part of this exchange. You've got to exchange that defeat and despair for devotion and motivation and the will to keep going. that sort of to chase your big dreams. Dream big and chase your dreams, Capricorn, because I feel like you could have it. You could have what you think is impossible. And by thinking it's impossible, you're making it impossible. So believe it. Believe it's possible. Start there. Start there. Always believe it's possible. All right, let's see here. To close this reading for Capricorn, what is the guidance here to close this reading? Oh, I love it. A new start is coming. It sure is, Capricorn. Hang on to that. Hang on to that. Don't despair. Don't feel defeated. Go outside and shake that off. Go do something physical. I find moving the body really is helpful in these moments where it's a time for healing. It's helpful to move the body. We were born in physical form here for a reason, that we can ground ourselves. We can shake off energy by movement and by being connected to the sun and the ground and the elements. Even the wind can sometimes move through you in a way where it can clear you of stuff. So don't sit at home and feel that despair. Get outside and rejuvenate yourself, re-motivate yourself to what you're dedicating towards. Be dedicated. Don't despair. Don't give up. Final card for Capricorn. Final guidance. A fiery climax approaches. I really feel that fire for you. This is your passion coming to life. This is you accepting what you know you were here to do and what you're here to express. And you're finally going to do it. You're going to express it and be devoted to it. And on the bottom of the deck, we look at the bigger picture. Absolutely. Oh, Capricorn, very inspiring reading. I feel like you've just got to shake this off. This feeling of despair has to go. You've got to shake it off and start investing yourself in thinking about success, not despair, and not changing your mind about what you're going to do and maybe going back to something that doesn't serve you and that you've tried and not loved. Pursue the path that you feel devoted to, that's really connected to you. All will be well here, Capricorn. I think it's going to be more than well. I feel like you're moving towards some major successes here if you can shake off that feeling of that defeated despair that's keeping you small, All right, Capricorn, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading. I hope it's been helpful. If it's resonated for you, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting. It's always so nice to connect with you guys, and I'm so incredibly grateful for your support. If you would like a personal reading, you can find that information in the description below. And as always, I'm sending you so much love and light, and I'm looking forward to reading for you again soon. Take care.